Jeff watch the reruns. Everybody loves it.
Good afternoon. This is the Board of Appeals, Town of Hempstead, September 27th, 2023, 2 o'clock meeting. Mr. Chairman, do you have any opening remarks?
I do. Is there anyone who has not been here before, who is not familiar with the way we do things here? Okay, so for your benefit, the procedure that we follow is we call adjournments first, all right? Then we call the cases. I don't believe there were any renewals on this afternoon, but we would take them next. And then we call the cases. The way it works is that that the applicant presents their case. If there are any objectors, the objectors will be given a chance to voice their objections. We do take correspondence, we take emails, we take letters. We don't take smoke signals because that's a little bit outdated, but everything else we'll accept. Once the objectants make their case, the applicant is then given the opportunity to rebut. We will then close the cases. Some decisions are made today. Some decisions take a while because of various factors. If anyone is in opposition on any particular matter, and if there are people who speak before them and they want to say exactly what the person before them said, it's okay to say, you know, the person before me, I agree with everything they've said. These proceedings are live streamed. We have a court reporter here so that if you miss anything and you want to review it later on, you can do that at your leisure. All right? That's it, Pat. Call the cases.
Okay. This afternoon, we have a few applications for adjournment. First, we have case 594-23, Oceanside, KLG Oceanside Land LLC. Variance in off-street parking, insufficient maneuvering aisle, renovation of existing car wash building with installation of vacuum stations and restriping of parking, also known as 332 Atlantic Avenue.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, William Vanessa, Celli, Deegan, Tirana, 33 Earl Hoganton Boulevard, Lincolnville, New York, here on behalf of the applicant, KLG Oceanside Land LLC. We are requesting an adjournment because my client wants to make some modifications to the site plan that were originally submitted to the building department and then the zoning board. He's in the process of doing that. So we're asking for an adjournment until December 13th. I was talking to Mr. Owens and he indicated that that date was available. As it happens, when I showed up today, there were some people here who were interested in the application. I told them that we were adjourning the case, and I also told them that I would speak to them and find out what their concerns are and see if we can address them. So we may be making modifications to the site plan to address those as well.
2 p.m., Patrick?
Correct, sir. That works.
Okay. Okay,
December 13th.
December 13th at 2 p.m.
all right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other adjournments, Patrick? I believe there were.
Next, we have case 599-23 through 604-23, East Meadow, Chick-fil-A Incorporated. Special exception for proposed 3-lane drive-through with pickup window, proposed freestanding drive-through canopy, and proposed shed, all in conjunction with proposed Chick-fil-A. install a detached double-face illuminated monument sign, 46.75 square feet per face, totaling 93.5 square feet with less than required setback on Hempstead Turnpike. Install a second detached double-face illuminated monument sign, 46.75 square feet per face, totaling 93.5 square feet with less than required setback on Merrick Avenue. Install first menu board sign in conjunction with proposed drive-through. Install second menu board sign in conjunction with proposed drive-through. Install third menu board sign in conjunction with proposed drive-through, also known as 1622 Hempstead Turnpike.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Denise Vista with the Model Law Group. Here on behalf of Chick-fil-A Inc. Address is 666 Old Country Road, Suite 901, Garden City, New York, 11530. We're here requesting an adjournment. We have some unavailability of our experts. I had spoke with Mr. Owens. We're looking for the November 29th date. I understand that is available. If it is still available, we would prefer that date.
Mr. Benesso?
For Chili Vegan Tirana, 33 Earl Boulevard, Uniondale, New York, here on behalf of the property owner of the Chick-fil-A property in support of the application. I was present to monitor and to address any easement questions that may come up or may not. But in any event, the 29th of November is fine.
Patrick?
Mr. Chairman, that date does work. That is open.
2 p.m. Anyone else here on that application? No. 2 p.m.
Vanessa, you said something about an easement agreement?
There's an easement from the corner property adjacent to the proposed Chick-fil-A property. And they wanted me to be here in case of questions.
And you're working with the applicant in this case? Thank you.
Mr. Benesso, but has the rest of the restaurant already been approved? Or is this just the drive-through that we're talking about, and the rest is as of right, or?
No, so this is a drive-through only and walk-up restaurant. So we're here for the relief for the drive-through and then some accessory structures and then the variances for the sign. So no, we have not been heard yet before this board.
Okay. November 29, 2 p.m.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next, we have cases 26023 Woodmere 134 Ocean Avenue LLC, variance subdivision of lot, maintained dwelling with garage on lesser lot, also known as 134 Ocean Avenue, as well as cases 26123 through 26223 Woodmere 134 Ocean Avenue LLC, variance subdivision of lot, lot area, front width from and on street line to front setback line, front yard average setback, side yards aggregate, construct dwelling, variance, side yard, install AC units attached to dwelling.
Gentlemen?
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. It's Barry Nelson for Christian Brown and the applicant. We respectfully this time ask that the matter be taken off sine die till the applicant decides how they're going to proceed going forward.
Robert Litt, Litt Law Group, 66 North Village Avenue, Rockville Center, on behalf of the Polans who are next door. We're in agreement that the matter should be adjourned
Sine die.
without a date at this point until the applicant decides what he wants to do, and we'll address it at that, when and if that does occur.
Okay. Sine die.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Mr. Nelson, for not testifying.
Wait, Patrick, hold on a sec. So, Patrick.
Nelson.
When they.
Mr. Nelson.
Mr. Nelson?
Pay attention.
When you do get a date, though, we're gonna have to renotice and everything, right?
Yes,
Right, we all know that, okay.
and amend the sign.
Yep.
So you'll give the office at least a 30-day advance notice of when you mutually want to ask that it be restored.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just for your
I mean,
edification,
we
Mr.
can't just show up and present.
You could
No,
try that.
Mr. Nelson, just for your edification, we all knew you had to give notice, but some people like to confirm that.
Don't
They
listen to him.
All right, thank you so much.
Again, thank you very much.
Okay, those are all the applications for adjournment that I had, Chairman. Does anybody else here have any applications for adjournment? Okay. We're going to start with case 58823 Point Lookout, Thomas Moran and Kathleen Holland Moran. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, side yards aggregate, construct a second-story addition to dwelling, also known as 57 Baldwin Avenue.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Joe Brennan. Address is 368 Lakeview Avenue, Rockville Center, New York.
And I'm Kathleen Holland Moran from 57 Baldwin Avenue, Lookout, design architect.
Okay.
Speak as loud as you can.
Okay, yes, so thank you. I'm the architect who led the design of this project. We are here today seeking variances for front and side yard setbacks as well as the building area. I would like to note that our design actually maintains the existing front yard and side yards. Those were, it's my understanding, those variances were previously granted years ago on another application. So we're seeking variances for those, but we're actually not changing the front or the side yard setbacks right now. The only,
The entire addition is within the footprint of the other, of the existing structure.
so, on the front, we have an extension that covers a porch, but we're going to the front, because there's like a bump out in the front. So on the second floor, we're coming out to where the existing
But
first
is
floor
there
is.
any portion of this proposal that is outside of the existing footprint?
No, no.
Shouldn't, because it's a second story home, so.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And so, but the building area is the condition we are changing because there is a front porch that we are essentially going over. But again, the front and the side don't change. And, so it's a partial second-story addition. It's on the south side of the house. There's already a partial second-story addition on the rear. So we are not changing the height either. We're maintaining the height that is established by the rear yard addition that's already existing. We have always, you know, this whole design was intended to be modest and to maintain the setbacks. And basically, we always wanted to create a modest addition, contextual for the neighborhood, not large compared to some of the other projects in town. The neighbors have not expressed any objections to my client, and we don't believe there's any sort of negative impact on the neighborhood or that this is atypical for this neighborhood.
Okay, so let's just, for the record, get the numbers on.
Yeah.
You need side yard aggregate, lot area occupied, and front yard average. So you can either give them to me or I'll take them off your chart.
Sure, I'll give
Tell us
them-
what's allowable and what you propose.
Okay, so for the front yard, 6.5 is permitted based on the average front yard setbacks. The existing is 5.1, and we're proposing 5.1. Side yard 1, the existing is 3.6, and the proposed is 3.6. Side yard 2, the existing is 1.4, the proposed is 1.4, and the aggregate allowable is 5, or the aggregate existing is 5, and we're proposing 5.
Where 15 is required, right?
Yes, yeah.
And lot area occupied.
Yeah, and then lot area 27.5 is permitted. Existing is 30.1, and we're proposing 36.7.
Did you want to tell us anything about how common lot area occupied numbers are in Point Lookout?
Yeah, I mean,
36 is much lower than most of the
yes, absolutely, yeah. And, you know, the lot has some property in the back that extends to the Parkside Drive. So a lot of this area, a lot of this lot remains open. The back of the lot is going to remain open. And, you know, if you look at the plot plan, that front left corner that says new second-story wood framed addition over existing one-story residence and porch, that's the only area that we're changing. But again, that front yard is already established, and so is the side.
So you're gonna level this off and bring it out.
Yes.
I have a question. The shed, existing mechanic shed conversion,
Yes. That was permitted, I think, in a permit from 1988.
but that's going to stay as is?
That's remaining, yeah, we're not touching that, yes.
So you're not putting a second story over it?
No, no. So if you look in the, that portion in the back, that's the rectangle, that's 16.8 feet. that's the existing second story, and we're doing the portion in the front that's the 9.9 plus
Yeah,
the
no,
12.
I understand, I just was
Okay.
wondering about that shed.
Got it, okay.
And this goes the whole way back to Parkside Drive?
The lot does partially, it's like a half lot that goes, the side on Baldwin is a full lot, and then half lot goes back to Parkside.
Right, and you, what, do you use that for parking?
Yes.
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll both be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Have a nice day.
Second,
Great,
all in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed, any abstentions?
thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have cases 58923 through 59023. Belmore, James Farrow. Variance front yard setback on Quintus Drive, construct addition attached to dwelling. Variance side yard, maintain 2 AC units attached to dwelling, also known as 2566 Beltall Avenue.
Gennaro Cozzolino, 2125 Deer Park Avenue, Deer Park, New York, 11729. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Again, Gennaro Cozzolino for the homeowners, Mr. and Mrs. Farrow, residing at 2566 Beltall Avenue, Belmore, also known as Section 56, Block S3, Lot 186, located in a Residence B zone. We're requesting relief from the board to build a 14 by 22 first floor addition
There is one, too,
in a secondary front yard.
by the dog pound.
The proposed addition requires a variance for side front yard setback, requesting to build at 11.1 feet
It runs
and
through.
9.1 feet to new fireplace.
I'm sorry, what is, 25 is required, what do you propose on the front yard?
Beltog is in,
11.1.
runs through Belmore.
And what does it currently have?
It is currently at 25.1. I have some photos if the board wishes to see the existing conditions. On Quintus is 29.5. But those are all interior lots. There is also an 8-foot buffer to the edge of to the curb of the road. From the property line to the curb is another 8 feet. In the cellar? Not personally.
Two-car garage, correct?
Yes. Currently, they have a detached two-car garage.
They propose to keep it detached, I guess.
Yes.
It's just, I think, at least for me, to take the front yard from 25 to 11 seems relatively significant. And I can't help but wonder, like, wouldn't it have made more sense to connect the garage and the house by putting the addition, connecting the two? I see there's a hot tub, but that's why I was trying to look at, the proposed addition is just a family room, right? It's not like it has to be next to the kitchen, et cetera. So I'm just wondering,
Is that the whole lot?
did you design it?
Well, there's the first floor layout.
This is,
There's a kitchen in the corner with the bathroom.
Right, but the layout, the
This
other
is his
part is a
pool?
den. And if all you're adding is a family room, it could logically be
So he
connected
wants
to
to
a
come
den.
down
I'm
here
not trying to
or
redesign the
on
thing, but
side? Over
seems
here.
like
That's crazy.
you know what I'm saying? Like, since a family room is being added, it could connect to a den, and it wouldn't seem to have issues that sometimes present themselves. You know, like the dining room needs to be by the kitchen, stuff like that. See, Joe, that's a den.
Yeah, it's,
This is a den, and this is a family room. So I
Yes.
can- That's what-
is the garage a garage or is that storage?
It's a garage.
You know, to decrease the front yard from a requirement on a corner house from 25 feet to 11 feet is, 11'1" is quite a reach. If you, I'm looking at the Google Earth map now, and there's really no other front yard setback that is even near 11 feet. You know, the other houses on that block are front yards, and they're maintaining what looks like probably a 25-foot setback.
There was only one other house at the corner of Beltall and Jeffries, 2521 Beltall, that had a smaller secondary front yard. But unfortunately, it
That's
was
on the
built, it was
on-
built prior to the building department.
That's on the cul-de-sac?
That's across the street to the left on Jeffries and Beltall. No, it's not on the cul-de-sac.
There's only one that's similar.
Is,
It's just,
If we reduced it by a few feet, would that,
is there a reason that it didn't make sense to connect the house and the garage with this addition? I mean, since, like I say, it's a family
The
room,
homeowners
and it
felt-
would connect to a den, so it's kind of like, seems logical, and,
it would take away from whatever rear yard they have left.
they have a giant yard.
yeah.
Well, there's a pool, there's other stuff, but it
Does it,
it would be connecting the detached garage now to the house,
Right,
yeah.
it's a 7,800 square foot lot. It's
No,
a-
no, I understand.
the yard's huge. I mean, this is a small section.
I want to come out here. This is 11 feet.
And they have 26 feet on one side, and on the other side, well above 50 feet. I mean, yes, there's a pool, but unlike a lot of people come here, they actually have a lot of yard. Can you tell us why the decision was made to put it there rather than,
That's how the homeowners wanted it. They needed additional room to entertain their extended family, and the easiest place to build is right there in the secondary front yard.
Would you want to go back to your client and see if you can figure out an alternative? You've been here before. This is not necessarily a good application, reducing that front yard from 25 to 11.
Okay, will do.
And it's a two-story addition. It's just,
No, it's a one-story
it's a
addition.
one-story?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I would respectfully suggest, ask the chairman if you want to
Adjournment?
ask for an adjournment to resubmit plans, or perhaps as an alternative. And I think you would agree that if you were sitting up here, and there's no practical reason why.
Well, there's no other precedents, so I understand the
Well,
board
that's a good point, too.
not
Why
wanting
should,
to set
why
precedents.
would we want to set a precedent?
I understand.
And it's a big lot, and there is, you know, as I
Other
look at it,
options.
other alternatives.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. I can't speak for my colleagues here.
Mr. Chairman, we would like to request an adjournment to reconfigure the project.
We'll be happy to grant that. Patrick, how long do you need?
Well, reconfigure, get looked at again.
Yeah.
Can we do, Christine, can we, the problem is that if we give a certain amount of time, you know, it's kind of a, we don't know the answer if he takes it to the building department, if we're gonna get an answer back in a day, so he can get his mail, or whatever he's gotta do, or 6 months later, you know. So my thinking is like, if we give him a date, can we have him bring it here, can we get it to the building department and back? I don't know, Patrick, is that,
He
I know we've done that in the past.
Why don't
he didn't like that.
we put it off for,
They were trying to do it as soon as possible. They waited a long time to get to this point, and unfortunately, if we can get in, I mean, as soon as possible. Yes.
Go, or should I wait? Pamela Farrow, 2566 Beltog Avenue, Belmore, New York.
Situation that we're kind of in. And I offer a friendly suggestion.
To put it behind the house, then you're really kind of closing off the room because you, oh, I'm so sorry.
That was my
Should I
apologies.
stand up? Absolutely. Okay. Pamela Farrow, 2566 Beltog Avenue, Belmore, New York, 11710.
So tell us about how you chose the location.
Because it's on this, like, you see where the kitchen is, and then we have the dining room table, and then we have, I guess, what's the living room. So to add the family room to the living room just kind of makes sense. To put it behind the house, then it's kind of closed off, because the bathroom's in the middle and the kitchen's on the side. And I don't want my house attached to the garage, because my mom's house got broken into that way, because it was a lot easier to break into the garage than the house. It kind of freaks me out a little bit. I just thought it would look nice next to the house. And it's in the fence line. Actually makes the fence line smaller, because we'd be removing that whole section of the fence on the side of the house.
But you understand that on a corner house, you're required to have 25 feet on each street. And to diminish it to 11 feet is quite extensive. And
That, just out of curiosity, and I apologize, I'm not trying to play ignorance, I'm asking an honest question. Does 11 feet plus the 8 feet from the fence to the curb, right?
Wait,
Well,
from the fence to the
That
curb
doesn't
of the
count.
road?
That's not part of your problem.
not part of
Okay,
their
but,
property.
Okay.
okay, so you're
That's why
talking-
I'm asking. Like,
You're
it's,
saying from your property line to the
Uh-huh.
edge of the street is another 8 feet.
that's what you said, right? You said it was
Which
an
does
additional
affect
8 feet.
visibility, that's a legitimate,
If you can take a look at the pictures, I took a picture of that angle where you can see that there's an additional approximately 8 feet.
I mean, we take care of that section alone, obviously, 'cause it's attached to
'Cause there's no
to my
sidewalk.
house, but
there's no sidewalk there.
No,
No.
we don't have a sidewalk. I mean, we maintain it, we cut it, weed whack it, and make it look nice, but, you know, technically, it's not ours.
is your house white in the back?
No, my house, my garage is white, my house
that's
is like a
what
green.
Well, these are old pictures. It it looks white.
Or maybe it is white. I thought it was, no, because that's green.
The picture looks white, but that's okay.
The side and the rear pictures are probably old.
Yeah,
You
because this
see?
is before the dormer.
There's no second floor on the front.
Yeah, the first two pictures on the left, that's from before the dormer. The two pictures on the right, the side and the back are green.
That's your fence that goes all the way around and
The white
opens up
fence.
for your driveway.
Yes.
Is that 4 feet or 6 feet?
I
That's
don't
probably 6 feet
think it's 6.
from the curb to the property line.
And it's hard to tell by the satellite, but is that do you have a small fence enclosing mostly just the pool?
There is a I don't see that picture at all. There is a fence that encloses the pool from the garage, side of the garage, all the way down to
Right.
the back fence. So the pool has a complete fence around it with an alarm, yes. We had to put all that in for the pool. To get the pool permit, and that's all closed.
Express what I felt personally as a board member. You could proceed with it, or you could ask for an adjournment and
So,
consider an alternative if you're so inclined. It's your application.
if you extended the one story and it's proposed, do I have elevations of
let's leave it as is, and, if we need to.
Why you need an extension, why you need more space, lots of kids, you know?
Large family, large extended family, and
I have 3 daughters. They have 15 first cousins that all live on Long Island, and we used to hang out and do all the holidays at my mom's house. And my mom passed away 5 years ago, of pancreatic cancer and breast cancer, and we lost her very large house in Woodbury. And now we're all in tinier houses trying to fit everybody indoors, so I'd like more space to fit my family in. I have 9 siblings, 6 of which live on Long Island, and yeah, I'm very lucky, very blessed. Didn't realize how rare that was until I got a lot older. So outside of the summer months where we could sit outside, I can't fit everybody at my table. You know, I don't mind putting a table from one end to the other and making it work, but everybody having kids, we don't fit anymore. So I want a little bit more space to be able to host Thanksgiving like my mom did.
we also, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, we also had case number 590 regarding the maintain of the 2 AC units with side yard setback of 1 foot and 4 foot, where 5 feet is required. Difference of 4 feet and 1 feet respectively, and that is about it.
How long have they been there?
7 years.
Several
Any
years,
complaints from your neighbors?
none.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
That is it, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would then
Any
move that the hearing be
questions?
closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Cozzolino, you and your client will both be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Thank you, have a nice day.
I have the next 2 cases also.
Okay, you can stay there then.
All in favor?
Next, we have case 59123 Belmore, Stephen Steinmetz. Variance, lot area occupied, construct addition and deck both attached to dwelling, also known as 2031 Freeman Avenue. Mr. Cozzolino, I have you signed in from before, just your name and address again for the record.
Gennaro Cozzolino, 2125 Deer Park Avenue, Deer Park, New York, 11729. Good afternoon again, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. We're requesting relief from the board to construct a first-floor rear addition with a wood deck and stairs to grade. Proposed additions require variance for lot coverage, requesting to build at 31.56% from permitted 27.5%, a difference of 4.06%, or difference of 4.06%. 31.56, or approximately 162.4 square feet. Proposed additions will comply with all other zoning requirements. Proposed addition will have no significant impact to the environment, will fit in with the character and nature of the neighborhood. It is a smaller 40 by 100 lot, and they would like to build this first floor addition with the deck.
This goes back 82 feet.
Do you already have a first floor addition on the back?
Yes, there's an extension that's coming out,
So you're making it larger?
correct.
It's a nothing application.
How big is the one that's there now?
Take a peek. Search sheet.
The rear room was probably 10 by 10.
Any open goodies?
Was that built with a permit?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Well, if it wasn't, you'll have to legalize it anyway as part of this.
It's being demoed, correct.
So is that going to be
demoed.
demolished? and-
Demoed, yes. It's
Demoed
being
and-
removed and the larger extension being built.
So what is the current one that occupied? You know?
The current, 1 second. Current lot coverage is 21.4%,
How much?
21.4. third one, with the deck, correct.
How far off the ground is the deck, how great?
The deck is,
Greater than 8
1,
inches?
2, 3, 4, 4 times 8 is 32 inches. Less than 3 feet.
And this proposed cellar entrance, that's as of right, I guess?
Yes.
What's
There was an existing cellar entrance. We had to swing the stairs around in order for them to get into the,
Have you been to the house?
no, I haven't been to the house. It was,
So has
in
anyone in the
basement.
office been to the house?
yes, whatever is on the plans is what's there currently.
Oh, so someone in your office goes down?
Yes.
and-
Goes there and measures, yes.
So you don't know what's in the basement?
It is a storage area, just unfinished.
It's unfinished?
Level storage is only, yes, unfinished.
You have a picture or something you're looking at?
I'm looking at the plans, the foundation plan.
Right.
Oh, so they're taken down.
What all, I'm a little confused by the plans, so, and I'm not an architect. What all are you demoing on the first floor? Just that back area?
We are demoing that back room, putting in a new foundation, and building the new addition
New foundation under
under the new
the
extension.
demo, not under the whole house?
No, just a new addition.
Oh, so when it says first floor demo plan and it actually shows what you're gonna leave?
Whatever is dotted, that's what's being removed.
I see. Yeah, that's what I was getting. And any other interior alterations to the cellar proposed? With the new entrance?
No, just a new entrance.
No other, there's no application
No,
for any other
the-
bathroom?
The existing cellar entrance, we're just swinging the stairs front to back. So,
Right, which I understand
yeah.
exactly right, but
right,
you don't, there's no other applications pending or?
No.
or Plan?
no other work,
Say put a bathroom in the cellar,
no other work going on.
that you know.
Correct.
Is there a reason that you did not submit basement plans?
Basement plans? For?
That might be it.
There's a foundation, proposed foundation right next to it.
This shows, okay.
They're different than usually I've seen
Oh.
on the plan. It always looks like that's the,
Okay, no worries.
Any other questions from the board?
Yes, the gazebo, that's going to be removed, and the brick patios will remain?
The gazebo's being removed, just leaving the brick patio.
The brick patio, and
Yes.
the shed is going to be removed?
Removed also.
oh, the brick patio back by the garage.
Correct.
Any other questions? If not, motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Cozzolino, you'll be notified by the mail.
Thank you. One more.
592. 3 in a row. Just got 3 in a row.
Next, we have cases 592-23 through 593-23. Oceanside, John Kelly. Variances, front yard average setback, lot area occupied, construct second-story addition and wood deck, both attached to dwelling. Variance front yard average setback, maintain one-story addition and roof over porch, both attached to dwelling, also known as 68 Johnson Place. Once again, Ms. Cozzolino, we have you sworn in from before. Just your name and address for the record.
Gennaro Cozzolino, 2125 Deer Park Avenue, Deer Park, New York, 11729. Here for the applicant, John Kelly, residing at 68 Johnson Place, Oceanside.
I'm supposed to know this, but how are you related to Michelle Cozzolino who comes in?
I'm the older brother.
Well, you're the one.
I'm the one, the only one. We're requesting relief from the board to construct a second-floor addition with a wood deck and stairs to grade. The proposed additions require variance for lot coverage. Requesting to build at 30.84% from 30.84 from permitted 27.5, difference of 3.34%, or 133.6 square feet. The proposed second-floor cantilever requires a variance for front yard setback, requesting to build at 19.69 feet from permitted front yard average of 21.1 feet, difference of 1.41 feet. Also maintaining a front addition and roof over with a front yard setback of 20.69 feet, instead of permitted front yard average of 21.1 feet, difference of 0.41 feet or 5 inches. Proposed addition complies with all other zoning requirements, will have no significant impact to the environment, will not affect any adjacent properties, and will fit in with the character and nature of the neighborhood. Thank you.
It's trampling. That is so ugly. It's a trampling.
There's a pergola. Oh, no pool, that's for sure.
In
Addition?
the back?
There's a proposed deck going in the rear.
There's a what?
There's a proposed deck.
No, I know there's a, but what is on the back now? Because to me, it looks like on your plot plan, it looks like it goes straight across in the back, but on the Google map, it looks like there's an addition on the back. Is that going to be removed?
That is being removed. The one-story addition in the rear?
Yes.
Yes, it's to, well, sorry. There's a cantilever in the rear, that's why it's squared off. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. There's a cantilever in the rear.
Look at it.
It's existing, and there's the cantilever
Isn't that
of the
right
second floor.
address? 68 Johnson Place.
Proposed first floor plan, there's the
It's going
existing.
here.
And then there's the second floor will cantilever over, that's why it looks squared off.
Well, that's the question I asked.
No, that's staying. We're building over it. This is the existing. The second floor is gonna go over, although, you understand? The second floor addition is going over the existing first floor extension.
Yeah, but the satellite view of the house is like this.
Yes,
And then it's this.
right.
The drawing we have, the site plan doesn't have this, showing that.
Is the proposed, the second floor is gonna go over that, but it's gonna cantilever in the opposite corner.
You're calling it a proposed rear deck. What?
Sure.
So what, are they gonna put another deck back here too? We don't have enough room.
Let the record reflect that the applicant's representative explained to the board the seeming discrepancy between satellite view of the subject property and the plans, explaining to us that the proposed second-level addition would go over the portion of the existing first floor and, in addition to that, square it off, sort of, so that it makes perfect sense.
Doesn't show that. Plot plan's not right.
Any other question?
No, plot plan isn't correct.
Because he showed what it's gonna be.
Yeah, but he should show what it is and then it go over.
What is the overall height of the building from the crown of the road?
feet 11 inches.
2711?
Yes.
It does seem
So wait, is this going to be a room back here? You're saying a cantilever?
That's on the sides.
That's this part.
Yes. Not on the back, though.
So the addition that's there is just going to be made a larger addition, so it's gonna be a first floor and a second floor? There is a first floor there. So on
That's
the other
staying.
side of it, there's gonna be a first floor
gonna be
and
a-
then a second floor.
There's gonna be, no, we're just adding a column there to pick up the load from the new second floor.
So that's going to be like open space down there?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so your deck is going to be like an L shape?
Then, exactly, well, yes, it'll pick up underneath. If you look at,
I know.
And that the pergola is going to be removed?
pergola is to be removed, yes.
And is there anything, is it on the ground or is it on a concrete patio? Or
It's on
brick-
the ground,
It's on the ground, so there's
Yes.
no
There's no
concrete
patio
or brick patio?
no.
And I'm sorry, I didn't hear about whether that was an above-ground pool, or what is that?
I believe it's a trampoline. I didn't,
A
yeah.
trampoline?
There's no pool in the yard.
You see it though, right? Whatever it is, a pool.
Yes. No, we know there's no pool, but they must have put a trampoline over the summer.
It's a Google, I don't know if they took the picture.
Trampoline it is.
Still a trampoline. No questions.
If not, do I have a motion?
Chairman, I move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Cozzolino, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Have a nice day.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstentions?
I just think this is the
KLG.
Next, we have cases 59523 through 59823. Merrick, North Merrick Fruits Incorporated, doing business as Pat's Farms. Special exception for outdoor sales and display of fruits and plants with front yard setback variance. Special exception for outdoor storage of fruits and plants with front yard setback variance. Variance in off-street parking. Maintain 6-foot-high fence with 2-foot-high lattice above, totaling 8 feet in height. Also known as 1142 Merrick Avenue.
Your opposition.
I do. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. William Benesso for Chelly Deegan Tirana, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Uniondale, New York. Here on behalf of the applicant, North Merrick Fruits, Inc., DBA Pat's Farms. Seated in the second row is Mr. Pasquale Tuosto, otherwise known as Pat, who is the owner and operator of the facility. And then next to him is Bobby Allweiss, our draftsman and expediter. The application before the board pertains to the property on Merrick Avenue that is Pat's Farms. It is a long-time staple in the community. It has been operating since 1984 at this location. It is a fresh produce and grocery store accessed from Merrick Avenue with an egress onto Jerusalem Avenue. Back in 1998 and then again in 99, the applicant was before the board seeking relief in connection with the operation and site development for this property. That resulted in variances that were granted under BZA case numbers 562, 563, and 564 of 1998, and then BZA case number 817 of 99, and they pertain to the outdoor sale, display, and storage of fruits and vegetables for sale in front yard setbacks, also a parking variance, and then also to maintain a 6-foot-high fence. After those were obtained, they basically fell by the wayside. Mr. Tuosto and his brother, who was his partner at the time, were not aware that they needed to close out the permits and finalize the process. So consequently, they have been operating basically in accordance with the approvals and conditions that were imposed by the board, but for one, which is why Mr. Litt is here, and we'll get into that. But in compliance with the requirements and the conditions that were imposed by the board, but they never had the approvals that they needed because they expired. So the relief that we're here today for is identical to the relief that was granted back in 1999 by the board and under case numbers 562, 563, and 564, and 817. Same relief being requested now as then. No changes occurring to the site. The site is going to continue to be developed as is, and the site is going to continue to operate as is. No, it wasn't, actually. It was granted, none of these were granted temporarily. They were granted with conditions, but they never went and got COs and full, right, exactly. That's what occurred. So, yeah.
For my edification, what's the difference? Why do we have the outdoor sale and display and then the outdoor storage of the same things?
Well, the outdoor storage was actually a later application. That
What
was
is
heard.
that?
I presume that, I mean, the outdoor sale and display is pretty clear.
Right.
But they also, I presume, and Pat, you want to come up here for a second?
Like, how is the storage different from that?
I'll find out.
Like, they have the right to sell and display. What do they need for storage? How's that different? Keep it overnight? Maybe it's keep it overnight. No. Oh, I'm sure. I'm just curious why they have to have also storage, like they have display and sale, but storage, that it can be there overnight? Yeah, I just don't know why they characterize it separately. I'm curious.
Yeah, your home address.
Pasquale Tuosto, 560 Monroe Boulevard, Long Beach, 11561.
Speak as loudly as you guys can,
Robert
please.
Allweiss, 1 Catherine Place, Belmont, New York, 11710. I'm the engineer of record.
I'm just curious, if you're allowed to sell and display, what's added to have storage? Is it overnight? Is that the drill? I don't need to know what area it is.
Here? Okay. May I approach?
No.
Yeah, sure.
Did you go through the metal?
Doing what? Like people don't look at them. I'm
Fruit,
just curious
that-
why we need storage also, because it seems like display and sell is.
Redundant.
Yeah, but they got everything everywhere.
Listen. Yes, that the case went forward already.
So back on the record, the outdoor display and storage area is the hatched area that you see running along adjacent to Merrick Avenue, and also where it says frame canvas awning, the area that's where the display and sales takes place. I'm told that the fruit is taken in overnight. It's not actually stored out there. For whatever reason, they were required to obtain a storage relief as well, and that was
Those were
granted.
the conditions in place
Yes.
when you were approved last time.
Correct. So the board granted the relief being sought today, back in 1999, both relating to the 98 case numbers and the 99 case number. Everything is operating the same way. The site is operating the same way. The character of the neighborhood has not changed. All that being said, we were contacted 2 weeks ago by counsel for the property owner across the street. It is a shopping strip center on the south side of Merrick Avenue, and it has a parking lot at the north end of that strip center. And Mr. Litt was kind enough, rather than to just come in and ask for an adjournment and put this off for a couple of months and make us address it that way, he was kind enough to alert us to the concerns of his client, who is the owner of the shopping center across Merrick Avenue. Yeah, Dwayne Reed yes, Dwayne Reed is there, and there are other uses there. But basically the concern has been long-standing, and it is the reason for one of the conditions that exists in the 1999 approvals, and that condition pertained to providing the owner of that center with a list of our employees' cars and license plate numbers and makes and models, which Mr. Posto did for a short period, and then it fell by the wayside. That was back in 1999. Now with the internet and emails, it's a lot easier to follow up with things like that and be able to provide that. So Yes, yeah, the major concern, and I can understand it, the major concern is that apparently at the busiest times, either employees and/or customers were utilizing that parking lot in addition to the parking that is provided on Pat's site. And we're prepared to address that today with some additional conditions over and above those that were imposed in 1999, which, if I may, I'll read into the record, that I think you'll hear from Mr. Litt are satisfactory to his client.
And when you're done with that, will you admit that into evidence of counsel?
Surely. First, the applicant agrees to turn over a list of employees 4 times annually by email to info@imc.net to the attention of property director. The list shall include the license plate number, make, and model of each employee vehicle.
And only that, right? You don't want to give other information?
No, we're not going to give out names and addresses. Second, applicant agrees to station an employee at the applicant's sole cost and expense from the hours of 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the vicinity of the parking lot servicing the property commonly known as 1149-1171 Merrick Avenue, North Merrick, New York. That's the strip center across the street. To ensure that Pat's Farms customers do not use the parking lot. The employee shall inform any Pat's Farms customer utilizing the parking lot in any fashion that the customer is not permitted to park in that location and may be towed or stickered as a result. The employee shall be stationed in the vicinity of the parking lot from the hours of 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the following days: Memorial Day, Labor Day weekend, Saturday through Monday, July 4th, Memorial Day weekend, Saturday through Monday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter. In addition, the third condition, applicant shall designate 8 parking spaces closest to Merrick Avenue, which shall be utilized for employee parking only. The reason for that is, and this is on our parking lot, this is not across the street. On our parking lot, what Mr. Tuosto found is that there's basically jockeying for those best spaces, the spaces on the right side of the entrance, and because it's closest to the entry to the store. And what was happening was that people were actually backing up on Merrick Avenue, waiting for those spaces to become available. So what Mr. Tuosto started doing was he made that all employee parking, and now it'll be labeled, those first 8 spaces will be labeled employee parking, so that his employees will park there, and it'll keep people from waiting for those spaces, as opposed the next best spaces, which will be beyond 8 spaces north, they'll at least have pulled in and gotten off the street, and they'll be in the driveway and can wait for any spaces over there for that.
You know, that's obviously the opposite of what we usually do, which is get the employees off the premises so there's enough customer parking, right?
Well, there are still plenty of employees who park on Merrick Avenue, park on Jerusalem Avenue, but he does permit some of his employees to park, and it does work out with this new implementation. So he has seen it in practice, it has worked, so he'll now designate those 8 spaces as employee spaces.
Okay,
And
so,
it'll basically take away those spaces during the course of business, and people won't be waiting for them.
so the other thing that I'm only speaking for myself, a little concerned, the idea that he's going to pay someone to be in someone else's parking lot to make sure customers, let's say, for example, first of all, I think that's really burdensome. I get given the list, that's legit, but what if someone does? What's the employee going to do? Have an argument? Like, how does that work in practice?
This was a very important concern of Mr. Litt's client, and I'll allow Mr. Litt to elaborate on it, but from the negotiations that took place, this was a very important concern of Mr. Litt's client. So Mr. Tuosto is being magnanimous and agreeing to pay for an employee, an attendant, to be there at those hours on those days. Now, the intention is to advise somebody who's crossing the street, who seems to be getting out of their car and going across the street to go to Pat's Farms, to say, hey, if you're going to Pat's Farms, this is not your parking lot. You need to park over there at Pat's, or you need to park somewhere else, because this is a private parking lot serving this establishment. If the person...
What's the deficiency on the parking lot? on the subject
They
property?
they have 81 parking spaces, and they were required to have 104, I believe. So they're about 20% deficient. So that being said, in order to accommodate the neighbor, we are prepared to do this. It is somewhat unorthodox, you're correct, but my client is prepared to do this. In addition to that, we have number 4, the owner of the parking lot shall provide at the owner's sole discretion a rendering of a sign and identify locations for the sign to be placed intended to notify Pat's Farms customers not to park in the adjacent shopping plaza. And then lastly, the applicant shall provide the owner of the parking lot with the contact information, including the name, phone number, and email address of a point of contact for the applicant. The owner of the parking lot, which is the parking lot across the street, at the owner's sole discretion, a rendering of sign and location, identify locations for the sign to be placed intended to notify Pat's Farms customers not to park in the adjacent shopping plaza. I presume that those are signs in and around the parking lot across the street. Am I correct about that? Yeah.
Here we go. Am I on? Could you hear me? Sure. I do, thank you. Robert Litt Law Group, 66 North Village Avenue, Rockville Center, counsel for 1171 Merrick LLC. What was our understanding is that the signs would be on the Pat Farms property, advising that, letting everybody know that if they ended up parking in the wrong parking lot, they would walk over and they would say, "Oh my God, I shouldn't be parking there." We do have signs on our parking lot across the street. Yes. Correct. Correct. Yeah, there will be signs on Pat's Farms property in specific locations, just indicating that do not park across the street. That is a private lot. You will be towed, and some sort of, dynamic in that respect.
Thank you, Mr. Litt. Mr. Litt, do you want to elaborate on what I've indicated?
The only comment I do have is that, yes, it is unique that there's going to be an employee of Pat's Farms over on my client's property, which is across the street. And obviously, if they see someone parking, they walk across the street. I guess their obligation would be, please remove your car. It doesn't belong over here. They're going to ask nicely. I would say 99% of the people will move their car. If they don't move their car, we're not here to create conflict. We're not here to create fights or anything else. But we would say that most people would accommodate. And that's what we're trying to do here is work with Pat's Farms. We're not here to be difficult. We're not here to create issues and hurt them with their business. We just want to make certain that my client's able to continue his business because he does have a full strip center, and people do use that parking lot, and who are tenants that are at the property, and want to make certain that the spots are available for their customers that are arriving.
Do you know, Mr. Litt, if there's a parking variance associated with your client's property?
I'm not aware of any variances that are at that property.
That's our direct case. I'll provide a written copy of the conditions that we've agreed to counsel
Christina.
for the board. Nassau County Planning Commission recommended local determination. Unless the board has any further questions, that's our direct presentation. Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing further to add, except that we're in consent with the comments and the terms that were, and the conditions that were stated by Mr. Bonesso. We went through this very carefully with counsel and his team of people, and I want to thank them very much for the time and effort to put this together. This was not easy, and we appreciate all his efforts. And our goal, again, is not to interfere in people's businesses, on anybody's businesses, but to work together.
Thank you.
I just have one question. How many parking spaces does Pat's Farms have?
81 parking spaces.
Instead of 104.
Yeah, and they were required to have 104. So they got about a 20% parking variance.
And the shops next door, are they owned by Pat's Farms? Are they?
The garden center next door,
The laundry, dry cleaning, Chinese food, pizzeria, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so that's not your parking either?
Anything else?
The parking variance that was granted is the same number required today.
Yes.
Did you move to incorporate?
Oh, I apologize. Since I did reference the cases from 1998 and 1999, thank you, Mrs. D'Amato, and thank you, Mr. Pellegrini, for pointing out in the first place. I meant to incorporate the record and testimony from those cases
And the decisions.
into this hearing so that they are part of the record.
And you
As
gave
well,
us-
no, go ahead.
And you gave us the decisions, or you?
I can provide you with the decisions.
No, we
I
could
have
just,
them ready.
we could
We
just
can
incorporate the
reference it
decisions, right?
ourselves.
you know.
All right,
Yeah, I have
so moved.
Okay. Any other questions?
Any other questions from the board?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Benesso, you, your client, Mr. Allweiss, counsel, and Mr. Litt,
Mr.
you all
Litt.
receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered.
Okay.
Thank you, have a nice day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Good to see you, Bobby. Bobby Orwell.
Next, we have case 50923, Merrick, Grace Reformed Baptist Church. Install 8-foot and 10-foot high fences, also known as 36 Smith Street.
My name is Daniel Totter. Residence address is 13 Nassau Avenue, Freeport, New York.
Stephen Totter, residence is 538 18th Street, West Babylon, New York.
Did you guys already swear in? Oh. You can start. He'll be back in a moment.
Sure. All right, good afternoon. Thank you so much for hearing us on this. My name is Daniel Totter, as I said, representing Grace Reformed Baptist Church, 36 Smith Street in Merrick. That's where I serve as a deacon. This is my brother. He serves there as a deacon as well, and he's also on the school board. Grace Reformed Baptist Church, formerly named First Baptist Church, has existed at that location for over 100 years. Our largest ministry is a K through 12 nonprofit school called Grace Christian Academy that has approximately 130 students enrolled. The reason we're before you today is we recently, through generous donations, redid our athletic field to turf, and we're looking to fence that field. The primary reason for that being privacy concerns, security concerns, and also keep containing all the balls that are being hit and kicked and knocked around in the field. For some perspective, if you're looking at the plans, the southern side of the field borders our own parking lot. The west side of the field borders our playground. The north side of the field borders the backyard of basically two residential properties. The first one's 23 Miller Place, which is owned by the church as well. It houses our pastor, resides there. The other one is 1980 Miller Place. And then there is the east side of the field, which borders the town of Hempstead municipal lot, which is just a very busy parking lot. That's also, behind that is a strip of stores that are on Merrick Avenue. So we're asking to be allowed to build 10-foot high fencing along the border with the municipal lot and also behind the basketball court, and the rest of it being 8-foot high fencing. Again, the limited height, if we have 6 feet, makes it difficult for keeping balls inside of the field. Creates somewhat of a risk when kids are going outside the field into a parking lot to have to retrieve balls. And also the desire not to accidentally damage any parked vehicles that are in the lot.
Is there a reason you want it 10 feet in some places and 8 in another?
I guess well, if 8 feet going into our own yard really isn't, so much of a concern. We think it'll be okay. If somebody has to retrieve a ball into our own, playground or parking lot, it's not as big of a concern as retrieving it from the municipal lot, which we really don't have access to. You'd have to walk much further around to get into the municipal lot.
It seems like it would just be easier to propose 10-foot everywhere.
Yeah, I guess there was also some cost concerns. 10 foot is a lot more expensive, so where we definitely feel like we, need the 10 feet, that's where we would have it.
So is the yellow sorry, it's hard to read. Is the yellow what's proposed at 10 and the blue at 8?
We colored ours, but not yours.
Oh, I thought you colored them. Oh, thank you. Blue is 8, yeah, okay, that's what and yellow is 10.
The only 10-foot section is right where it borders that municipal parking lot and also behind the basketball.
And a little
basketball
place where it goes, cuts back.
Yes. Yeah, there's a basketball court right there, so it'll just be behind the basketball net.
Now, this says chain link.
Yeah, so it would be black chain link fencing where it borders any exterior, so the residential properties and also the municipal lot, we plan to fill it with like a green perma hedge, so just to be aesthetically pleasing. and
Yes,
also for
sometimes
privacy.
when we approve, sometimes we will only approve fences in the chain link form or another see-through form, and we don't allow them to be, because there's safety issues like visibility.
Okay.
So if we're inclined to approve this, we'll articulate that you want, even though you're calling it chain link, you want it to be solid,
Oh,
right?
yes, yeah.
Because I
It'll
don't
be
want the
built.
building inspector to come out and tell you to remove slats or whatever it is. So what you're intending is a solid fence for these proposals?
Yes.
However you achieve that?
Yes.
Okay.
Except where it borders our internal, we want to be able to see into the field.
Well,
I
if
guess,
we
for rural
approve it
property.
solid and you don't make it solid, that's okay. But if we don't approve it solid and you make it solid, that would be a different ballgame.
Gotcha.
So we'll approve it solid,
Okay.
since there doesn't seem to be, if we approve it, it, no, if we approve it, it would be solid, because that's your proposal in essence.
Yes.
And none of it is a safety issue as far as I can tell. It's all interior.
Right.
And along the
Yes.
the parking lot. And then if you want to leave some of it not solid, but we'll consider it as solid.
Okay, great.
It's just that it's, when it says chain link, it could get mixed up in the paperwork.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other, is that your case, sir?
Yes. Yeah. Unless you have any questions.
If not, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Case 588 Point Lookout, Thomas Moran and Kathleen Holland Moran. Do I have any comments? If not, do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I will move, sorry. Case number 588 of 2023 in Point Lookout, Thomas Moran and Kathleen Holland Moran, affecting the property at 57 Baldwin Avenue, be approved as requested.
Second? Any second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Cases 589 and 590 of 2023, James Farrow. Do I have any discussion on this case?
I would like to inspect it.
Good. So we're going to hold that. All right. Case 591 of 2023, Belmore Stephen Steinmetz. Do I have any comments from the board or questions? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 591 of 2023, Stephen Steinmetz at 2031 Freeman Avenue in Belmore be granted as requested.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Cases 592 and 593 of 2023. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Yes, with respect to cases 592 and 593, 2023, location 68 Johnson Place in Oceanside. I move to grant this with the condition that that pergola be removed.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next cases, 592 and 593 of 2023, Oceanside, John Kelly. Do I have any discussion or questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Wait, I thought that was...
Wait, didn't he
Which one
just
are we
do?
on?
That's the one he,
Oh, you just did that? Okay, I'm redundant, creeping senility.
that's all.
Case 594 of 2023 has been adjourned to December 13th, 2 p.m. Cases 595, 596, 597, and 598 of Merrick. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I have one comment I'd like to say.
I'll bet you do.
I am not, I don't like the condition of hiring someone to sit in the other person's parking lot. All the rest of them are fine, and I don't think it should be a condition of any grant, if we're inclined to grant it. If they want to do that on their own, then they can do that, but I feel like it sets up a weird situation that I don't think is a good.
I beg to differ, because I think Lit's failure to oppose anything was in part conditioned upon that. And I think
They
you're
can
going to
still do
create a
it.
greater issue.
To me,
I would say I'd make it a part of the grant. They agreed to it. Vanessa offered it.
Okay, so I think that we should have the conditions, though, written out by Vanessa and sent to our
said it was
attorney.
going to do it.
So we have the exact language that they want, that it was agreed upon by both attorneys
Yep.
and their parties.
That's like the judge saying the stipulation, I oppose the stipulation because I think it's going to impose a financial burden on one of the
not
parties.
financial that I'm
Any
concerned
kind of a
about.
burden.
Well, no, a judge can say, listen, I'm not comfortable setting up that situation.
So
That's
okay, you expressed it, okay? Do I have any other comments?
Did you hear my comment?
What was your comment?
A letter.
My comment was that the conditions should be requested from
Yeah.
the attorney, and so we have the exact language, because the language was agreed upon
Yeah,
by all parties.
And I think he needs to clarify some things, because at least one of the board members, and I agree with you, I was a bit confused when they said the adjacent parking lot. How about he puts in addresses? You know, the owner of XYZ, he's going to do A, B, and C. Tell him to clarify it, okay? So we're going to hold it.
Maybe they should both sign off on it,
Yeah,
Lit and Vanessa.
yeah,
Yes, both.
okay, all right.
So will that on reserve?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to hold it. Next case is 599 through 604 of 2023, have been adjourned to November 29th, 2023 at 2 p.m. Cases 260 and 261 through 262 of 2023 have been adjourned sine die. Case 509 of 2023, Grace Reformed Baptist Church in Merrick.
I move case 509 of 2023, located at 36 Smith Street, Merrick, be granted as requested, solid fences.
Caveat that it's a
Yeah,
solid
solid
fence.
fences.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Anything else? Okay. Anything left over from this morning that we have to address?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I went over this, two decisions. I'll go over the minor edits that I had, but in substance, they're good. I did want to see, I had inspected case 493 of 2023 in Point Lookout, Joseph Bronca. I think I reported to the board last time, but I've now reviewed the draft decision, and I think I would like to move that that case be approved as requested.
Second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Next.
Did I? So as it relates also to case 552 of 2023 in Wantagh, Jessica Maxim, 3544 Locust Avenue, Wantagh. I've also reviewed that draft decision, and I move that the board adopt it, granting the applicant's request.
Second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Anything else?
Mr. Vogel,
What person?
So that was an application that was presented in August where it was a three-story structure and the applicant wants to convert the attic into,
this is the guy.
into.
Is it like Woodmere or somewhere?
Woodmere.
you're gonna find out what,
and then say no.
This is a modification request from Monty. We talked about it earlier. Yes. We're okay with modifying the language to change it to cut back 2 feet from.
And I don't know if Wayne was saying to Monty that he agreed to replace all those dead trees.
Is that Monty Bleeper?
He agreed to replace all those trees.
He did, it's in the transcript, I reread that transcript. So, yeah,
Okay.
we're modifying it. We make a motion to modify it to include the condition requested by applicant about where the fence is located and to include
Who's gonna make that motion? Good. You have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Next.
Oh, this, okay, yeah, so I figured I'd bring this up. So this is a while back, we had a case in which they got a pool in the rear yard located, let's see the address for this, so it's easier. Case 41422, where is this?
another Monty Lever case.
This is address.
He's on a roll.
Okay, he doesn't have the address, but I remember the case. It's 414 of 2022. The case was for a pool in the rear yard, and a portion of that application was a fence forward to the dwelling. The way it was on bulkhead, it was like, it might have been Baldwin Harbor, one of those areas. And the board asked, there was a portion of that fence forward to the dwelling, and he was saying on the record, something along the lines of the fence being at face level with the house, not needing a fence forward to the dwelling variance. I believe what Mr. Bono asked point blank, he said, whoa, wait, you're here for a fence forward to the dwelling, do you need relief for that? He said, no, then he said, are you withdrawing that therefore? And he said, yes, I think I am, and therefore it was withdrawn. Fast forward to now, he did have a fence right up to the property line, that was there. He brought a rehearing request about 6 months ago, the board rejected it because the case was withdrawn, because there was no final determination. You can't rehear something without a determination. For the sake of, not for the sake of maybe board economy, you would have to restart the entirety of the application again and go through the building department on the allow for fence forward to the dwelling. The
Was
other-
written out, so withdraw.
I guess there can be an argument this case could be reopened on mistaken withdrawal, because he's saying it was a mistaken withdrawal, they should never withdraw.
How far forward the dwelling is?
I believe it's it's a 3 feet setback, so I can't remember the site line, but I know it's setback, it's not all the way on the property line, but it's setback a little bit. It's a gradient thing, so it's kind of hard to see it because the grade goes up, and if it's only like a 4-foot fence, what the grade ends up being at the wall, that's 6 feet or something like that.
It's got to be going forward if it's pool.
But as of right now, it's being maintained as that, they can't get the CO, and it might be unnecessary for them to go through the entire, well, they prefer not to go through the entirety of the denial process again, because of, take that.
How about you send us a copy of the decision, site plan, and we'll do an inspection? You know, as it is now, that's. the
Where
main
was the property located?
I believe it was either, I think it was
Baldwin,
Baldwin,
Baldwin
it's not
Harbor.
Baldwin, unfortunately.
All right.
We spoke to him yesterday about it.
Couture will do.
Okay, we should send a copy of the information, but I think a reopening could be appropriate. The problem is the applicant made the motion, or he withdrew the claim, that's the issue. So we can't do a rehearing on something that's never been heard.
So what would be our mechanism?
Yes, but it was a mistake, it wasn't, it was done
What would
mistake.
be our mechanism?
I think reopening might work, because the case was advertised as such, if you want to go that route.
That's what you get for being too small.
Reopen up.
Yeah, reopening, gives put a set date, and you can say on the record that it was mistakenly withdrawn, and then bring the case in its entirety for that portion of the application, which would be specific to the fence forward dwelling. I think that would be,
Is the fence, does the fence have to be forward of the dwelling to fit around the pool?
I'm not sure.
Why don't we just get the
Yeah, let's get a copy
Yeah.
of the site plan, let's get the decision, and we'll send it over so we
I
can.
think you're right. I mean, if you look at it, nobody's gonna challenge us with your idea.
Right.
So it's,
Yeah. And I just don't think it's necessary to jam up.
no,
Someone who acts in good
you're
faith.
right, and I think you thoroughly analyzed it, came up with a good idea.
Okay, so let's get a copy of the site plan, look at everything, and then we'll put in a request for a reopening.
And then we'll deny it.
It needs to be unanimous.
So that was constructed as part of constructing the existing house. Was that roof deck in the original plans that we approved? That's what we have to figure out. If it was there,
It certainly
it's
wasn't
not a big
advertised.
deal.
It wasn't advertised.
No, but it wasn't part of this application.
I got it. Yeah,
But if
so-
we find out that that was actually part of what we approved previously, it's not a huge deal, he just mistakenly spoke.
Yes.
But he's not asking for relief for it.
From what he told me is that the only relief that he's seeking now is that third floor deck, that what we initially granted, and again, that's what he told me. We granted the roof deck, and we granted that second story deck,
Which
the
is
first story.
the issue I told you.
Correct. So he has relayed to me that our initial grant didn't include the roof
So
deck.
if we just pull the plans, the initial grant.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't addressed here because it wasn't,
Right.
it wasn't
but
part of the
I
application.
only ask about the steps because I was trying to figure out which deck he's here for. Because third story, second story, so I see those stairs, and I'm like, are you for that or that?
And then he said there wasn't.
I know. Because those are just stairs to the roof.
Yeah, that's a big mistake.
If that's not a deck, oh, okay, those are stairs to go up on the roof
Yeah.
to take your chair, but it's not a deck.
So would you like me to tell him to write a letter?
Well, I think if we look on.
I think first we should see what the original
Yeah.
grant said.
We'll find out if that deck and stuff was already approved
If,
previously.
and if
so,
that
we
was,
can just write a letter
if
and
that
say,
was
"Look,
approved in the original grant, why do we even have to address it?
He just wants to clarify the record that he didn't lie on the record. So he can just write a letter and say, I misspoke,
Tell him to go
but
to
it was
his
previously
priest.
approved.
He should go to his priest and make a confession.
If we are allowing,
Everybody else lies on the record, why shouldn't he?
we're allowing roof decks, should we then disallow elevators to roof decks?
That's gotta be done on a case-by-case
That's
method.
why that was not acceptable.
Sometimes you
That's
don't need the
height.
height, depends on if the elevator, the bulkhead goes above.
If that elevator wasn't a height variance, we would have probably allowed that. I'm sure we would.
Commercial buildings, not residential buildings, only commercial.
Commercial what?
Put that with Vinnie Albert and Joni Rebecca.
What?
Bulkheads on the top of residential buildings are not permitted encroachments.
Thank you.
They are permitted encroachments on commercial buildings. So that's why you can't have.
Well, some of the houses in Lido Beach look like they're commercial buildings. I went down there Sunday, and we're going up your street, and my wife said to me, is that an apartment house?
Some of them look like this.
No, no.
Some of the.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one other thing.
Okay.
It's, we got a call about, from the
Second.